Shalom. We'll start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemi Al Shai by Shel Chakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well, and as always, peace and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the for elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, they probably gonna ask this nigga Kanye, he came on the Drink Champs recently. It was over 2 hours long, and he said some stuff that was revealing. He caused a lot of controversy, it opened up discussion amongst a lot of people, probably a lot of barbershop talk, a lot of retweets from different, you know, personalities, celebrities, whatever. But he came back on the Drink Champs, and this is like I guess this is like a part two, interview. And he said some stuff in this particular interview that I wouldn't be surprised if they finally come down on him and tell his ass, you need to shut the hell down. Like, hey, you going overboard. We let you speak, for over 2 hours, before, but now, you doing too much. He might try to have his handler, come and handle it, you know. So anyway, this is basically what I wanted to point out. A brother had posted it on the chat. This can very well be what can get a reaction from, you know, those that are above him. All right, because this is something that this is one of the rules in this man's kingdom. You want to know who has all the power? Find out who you can't speak against. So action might be taken against this guy just because he opened up his mouth and said what he just said right here, and I'm getting ready to play it. So let's hit the play button.
Fair, and it's not even really about anti-Semitic. It's not a matter of you hate Jews. No, it's a matter of control. It's a matter of the fact that blacks work for Jews, Jewish people, and blacks are Jews. Blacks are blood of Christ. Blacks are Hebrews, the 12 lost tribes of Jews, and they.
So I know y'all just heard clearly what he said. Like I said, just for him saying that alone, they don't care whatever other thing he's saying, whatever with that. But what he just said right there, that's where they might come down and put a pacifier in his mouth. They'll have to come back and perform MK Ultra back on him and get him back in line. Because he ain't supposed to be saying this type of stuff, especially on a platform like Drink Champs, where everybody's tuning in, everybody's listening and watching this guy. See? And hey, like even Apostle Paul said, am I therefore your enemy because I tell you the truth? And that's what'll happen, if you speak against the grain. Especially those particular people, man. The small hats, you can't say anything about them, man. All right, you can't say anything about them, and you can't say anything about the alphabet mafia, or they will come down upon you. That's how you know this world is wicked as hell, man. But this devil, he managed to lie and pull the wool over the people's eyes. It tells you that in Revelation, that after he will be loosed for a season, he will go out to deceive the nations. And now that the truth is being brought out, now that veil is being lifted up. Isaiah 25:7. And the more that veil is being, peeled back, the more people are starting to see. All right, that this man he's the devil. He's the man of sin. All right, the son of perdition. Isaiah 25:7, it says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. And that's what blind the eyes, of the masses, man. Because they've been fooled, they've been lied to. Okay, they've been told that these people were the chosen people. All right, that they had right to that land that they, you know, crept into All right, signed all type of you know, well, they had the elite sign all type of deals, and they were, brought there. So because they occupy the land and they speak that that broken dialect, that automatically made them those people. So people have been under the impression for so long that they are the people. But pursuant to the prophecy, it tells you that Idumea would take possession of the land. Ezekiel 36 and verse 5. So that this covering had to be lifted, and it was through the Lord bringing out the truth in these final days. Daniel 12. Many shall go to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. It says, and the veil that is spread over all nations. And that veil is basically, something that's uh, uh weaved together like a web to create basically a covering. And I think there's a quote from who was it? Was it Walter Scott that said it? What tangle web we weave when we practice to deceive, and that's what these devils did, because their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. So the world was under the impression that these were the chosen people, and that us who fit the curses, we were just black people, Indian people. We were reduced to colors and names of areas that Esau labeled. You know, you're African, which goes back to Leo Scipio's Africanus, or you're American, which goes back to Amerigo Vespucci, or you're Puerto Rican, which is named which it means rich port of riches. So now that the truth is out, that veil that spread is being pulled back, is being lifted. The Lord is destroying the face of that covering. So this devil's lies is being exposed. Okay? And let me get real quick. And Kanye's only speaking on this because he's listening and watching the prophets. They all listen and watch the prophets. He ain't get that on his own. He's still preaching that Christianity bullcrap. Christians don't even talk like that, man. So even though he's pushing that left hand agenda with Christianity, this new age Christian, whatever type of Christianity he's spewing out, nigga had even that satanic Charles Manson at one of his services. So he this guy's confused, but he's speaking, some truths, okay? But he's only saying what we've been saying. So let's get second Esdras, was it 6? The second Esdras 6 and yeah, second Esdras 6 and 28, it says, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. And in his land, pursuant to Hosea 1 and 10, let's get that real quick, because that's what's being declared. And it was the servants, the prophets, that declared this to you. Isaiah, it's like your Hosea. I don't know why I typed in Isaiah. Hosea 1 verse 10. And it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people. You ain't the chosen people. You're black. You know, no, you're African. No, you're Egyptian. There it should be said unto them, you are the sons of the living power, which is another way of saying you are the Israelites. Okay. And then he had a point. He said, how could you How are we? Let me run it back.
It's a matter of the fact that blacks work for Jews, Jewish people.
So let me
Fair, and it's not even really about anti-Semitic. It's not a matter of you hate Jews. No, it's a matter of control. It's a matter of the fact that blacks work for Jews, Jewish people, and blacks are Jews. Blacks are blood of Christ. Blacks are.
right. So the fact that they'd be so quick to throw out that anti-Sim card when we actually bring out the truth that we're actually those said people. What are we saying that's false? And how is that anti-Semitic? How is me saying I am of the Shemitic people anti-Shemitic? Because it is about control. You can't say nothing about them. Whoever's in power, you can't speak against them. And that's funny because according to the curse, it said that the Israelites will be as a astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations. But here it is. If you actually call them by a byword, you get penalized for that. But when people say all type of things about us, we don't get the same level of outrage. You know, these other nations don't voice their outrage when they hear things against us. Many different things said about us as a people. You see, so these devils, they're being exposed. That you're not only are you liars, but you also are hypocrites too. And yes, we do work for you. Who controls the industry? All right, where it's mainly our people, dominating and generating so much wealth. All right, you all nations serve themselves of Jacob, and that's facts. All right, you become rich off of our labors, and that's also an curse too. All right, who controls the music industry? Who owns all these record labels? All right, you, and then you used it to weaponize it, against us, and said that that's your culture. Hip hop is really not. Well, they made it into a culture, but it really ain't. That's not really a culture. It's just a genre of music that got turned out from the left hand. Now it's just a demonic utensil, to influence Jake. But who controls that? So this nigga might get in trouble for saying these things, man. Because at the end of the day, they fed this nigga. He wouldn't have became a billionaire if it wasn't for those connections, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if something down the line happens. They might use his witch wife of his to do something. Them Kardashian witches. But you don't go against the hand that feeds you. But that nigga is bold though to say what he's saying. You're like, this guy, he's off his meds. We need the handlers to come deal with this guy. I don't know if they're gonna humiliate him like they did Nick Cannot. That 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 nigga there, man. That was horrible, man. You know, there's no telling, but some form of action is gonna be taken against him for saying what he's saying right there. Because when you say stuff like that, these devils will try to swarm on you. All right, and you can't, you got to be PC. You can't really tell the truth in this society, man. When you do that, you make yourself a target. It tells you in Isaiah 59th chapter, man. And you depart from evil, you make yourself a prey. But that's why us, we say, well, you know, basically we're bold to speak the truth because we don't have anything to lose. All right, there's really nothing that these devils can take from us. So they know we can come out there and freely speak what we speak. Let me get Philippians, the first chapter. And these other puppets, they're in line and they probably even watching is like, damn, this nigga yay, man. You know, they especially that nigga Nori. That nigga he you could tell he a jackass. That nigga as such a hard because rappers like Nori and them, they go back to the '90s where it was about being a hard ass nigga that came from the streets. But when it comes to truth, I see how he reacts to it. He acts all astonished and damn man, that's you know I didn't know that nigga. All you niggas know, but you'll tuck your tail when it comes to your master. But anyway, this is Philippians 1 and verse 14. It says, and many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. All right, and that's the spirit that's upon us, man. We don't have a muzzle, okay? We're not under no contract. We're not under no tax exemption statute. All right, our foundation is built upon that rock, man. So we speak what we speak without fear, man. And yeah, Esau, he'll censor us. He'll strike our videos, but it don't matter as long as this word is getting out, and it's getting into the minds of the people who are meant to receive it. Because all we concerned with is the elect anyway. Okay, and that's probably another reason why they watch us because they know that we can say what they can't say. Some of them they cut to the heart, secretly, but they can't say nothing. So they just sit back in the cut and watch it. This guy right here, you know, he's just off the he's off the Richter, man. You never know with this guy. He's spaced out. But one thing about him is he never been afraid to speak his mind. Now sometimes, he get the rambling and that, this this guy he's a nutcase. The scriptures say a fool uttereth all his mind. But the only thing that you should be speaking is the word of the Most High. That's what we speak. All right. And it's gonna, offend most, especially the powers that be, especially the small hats. They're very offended because his word it cuts like a two-edged sword. So anyway, we're gonna see, what happens. But brothers was able to catch this. And I was like, let me go ahead and do a response video to that. And so this nigga might get in trouble, who knows, or it might even get swept up under. We don't know. I'll be surprised if that goes under the radar, so to speak, and Amalek don't come out and get all crazy. Him being under fire and then we start to see headlines. Kanye West is anti-Semitic because that's how these devils roll. That's how they operate. So anyway, I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone, peace and citation to the elect. Shalom.